Make sure your next set of seatbelts and racing suit are from pro1safety.ca. Pro One Racing and Safety Products offer high-quality products made in the USA and now distributed in Canada. Pro One Canada offers seatbelts, racing suits, helmets, and all sorts of safety accessories for drag racers. See for yourself why NHRA sportsmen world champions such as Bo Butner, Jeff Strickland, the Emmons brothers, Austin Williams, and many more rely on Pro One Racing and Safety Products. Join the winners. Choose Pro One. Buy high-quality American-made products from your Canadian wholesale distributor at pro1safety.ca.
Hello and welcome back to the Bracket Life broadcast. Brandon here with my good buddy Andrew Sturck. Andrew, how's it going tonight, buddy? I said buddy twice.
We're doing good. We're doing good.
Good.
That's all right.
I was getting carried away with buddy. It's just rolling.
Yeah, that's all right. It's better than the A that I was accused of using all weekend, right? Eh? So
yeah, that's it. Everybody's on that, right? I always get that. I have a bad accent apparently. But yeah, welcome back. episode 63. You'd think we're
up there.
At this point we should be getting a little better at this, but that's all good. We're having fun. We're having a good time.
This is true. As long as everyone else doesn't mind, we're good.
That's it. Exactly. Before we dive too deep into the show, or into this episode at least, we wanted to give a thank you to pro1safety.ca. This episode is presented by them. As you could tell by the hat, we got the loud blue shirt. It's the loudest shirt that I wear.
It's a good shirt, though.
You know what I'm saying? It is a good shirt.
That bright blue, it really stands out in the crowd.
Right? Exactly. But lots of good stuff there. 4 distributors across Canada. Travis Ringeth out west. Jonathan DeVries in kind of Western Ontario, Southern Ontario area. Jay Bellew in Quebec. And Jason McNeil down east covering the Maritimes. So those guys always got lots of stuff in stock. And if it's not in stock, it's always available. They can get it really quick. We put new belts in 2 of our cars this year. So and then we've sold a few other sets. We started selling more stuff for Jay. We deal with Jay a lot with Pro One stuff and the Octane and everything else, right? We do a lot of obviously, Canadian businesses, right? And in the racing industry, there's not a whole lot of us, so we try and support each other when we can. So we do lots of that stuff. And then if you're interested in Pro One stuff, want prices, want quotes, or want to buy stuff from us, then send me a message, send Bracket Life message, Ogilvy's, whatever. But yeah, pro1safety.ca. We've all, you and I both have lots of Pro One stuff. I just found my new gloves.
Oh, nice.
I bought last year, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I had them tucked. I must have taken them to Alberta. We went. I couldn't find them, and then I had them tucked in my racing bag.
Yeah.
And then I was just looking through stuff on the weekend, and then boom, I found them, and I'm like, they're still brand new. Find. It was a great find. The gloves I have that I wear in my car have the stitching on the outside.
Reverse stitch. I use the same thing.
Yeah.
Love
so those. I really like the feel. It's not when I put my finger in, not that it's a big deal, right? People like either one, but it doesn't get jammed up with all the stitching on the inside. And then it's a nice feel on the steering wheel and on the trans brake button. So that's what I like to use. Daniel likes the normal gloves with the stitching on the inside. That's what he has for his. So we got 2 sets of the Pro One gloves.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I said that's the next fire suit that I get. I'm gonna get a Pro One suit. I know you have your suit and you really like that. So
yeah, really comfortable. It's Dash 5 suit, not huge, right? Like I've had some bulky suits over the years and some pretty comfortable, well-fitted stuff. This was off the shelf, fit great. So can't speak highly enough of it. See a ton of it around the US and Canada now, so it's really growing.
Absolutely. So yeah, lots of availability. It's all in Canada, so you don't have to worry about them shipping from Texas. I know that's a problem for a lot of those American companies and things like that. We don't have a whole bunch of stuff up here. So yeah. Don't wait for all that stuff. Don't worry about dealing with the border and everything else that comes with that. Pro1safety.ca, check that out, or message one of the dealers. Ask around. Everybody knows who's got them, who's got the good stuff. So that's it. Thanks to Pro One. We'll dive into the Canadian Countdown. Andrew, we are full swing.
Yeah, we're into the season now. It's results coming in from everywhere. Every track's running. Well, I believe every track in Canada. I can't think of one that's not at the moment, or at least hasn't taken a shot at it based on the weather, which has been probably the biggest mitigator for some of them. But yeah,
For sure.
and we're June. I can't believe it's June.
I know.
I was looking at this earlier today, and there we are. So
it's crazy how fast it's going, right? And like, you know, it already feels like I realize it's not, but it feels like the weekends are all slipping away. You know, I've unfortunately got a countdown from like I can go this many more times, you know, before we're done. You know, so that's that is what it is. But it's flying, right?
Well, the scary part is the first race of the year is one race closer to the end of the year, right? And every weekend that goes by is like that. So that's
it's terrible. I hate the end of the year. We're early June, so we're good. Let's not dwell on it too much.
Absolutely.
You and I got to hang out a little bit. Didn't get to see much. You know, parking. We weren't side by side, but we were there.
We were about half a mile apart thereabouts, but or quarter mile maybe, thereabouts. But it was a while.
No, that's all good. So we went to Napierville for the first. Bracket Super Tour event of the 2024 season. Great weekend. We were fortunate. We had great weather. Track was really good. The racing was really good. There wasn't, you know, I don't know, in Super Pro, there wasn't a huge shocker on Saturday for the big winner. Phil Harvey continued his dominance over the class, just running through it. And, you know, like, you can say whatever you want about Phil and how he's doing it and whatever, but he's great when he needs to be.
Yeah.
And when he's not, then whoever's beside him is making a mistake.
That's it. He's putting himself in a position when he's not great, he's still in a better position, right? Than most. And that's what you can ask for.
We've all been there. We've all seen that, whether it's been in our own racing or who we've been beside, right? When you roll in beside the juggernaut, that is, you know, at this point in time for the Super Tour, Phil Harvey, you're trying to do something you're not comfortable with. You're going out of your comfort zone, you know, you're taking some numbers out of the box, trying to do something else, you're dialing, and then he's forced you to make mistakes.
Yep.
You know, and he doesn't need to be perfect every time. He is pretty close.
He's perfect every time. Yeah, there's no question there.
You know, we're not taking nothing away from Phil, but you know, it's good for him. He had a great final with Max Gauthier. I was rooting for my boy Maxie.
Yep.
Right, Max's car was here a month ago now, I guess. We did an alignment on it. I know I talked about it on the show. And then, that little Vega works. Max works. You know, a good combo. He's driving really well. So, good for him. Good final. Good to see those two dudes started off well.
Yes.
In semi-pro, Martin Bribeau takes the win. Juniors was Maverick Angers. Maverick, once again, we talked about him a bunch last year winning in Napierville.
Yeah.
So that's a good deal. Well, I guess I'll talk about the Saturday race first before I get too far. So Saturday for us as a family, and I think like we'll highlight our own racing that we did. We had a successful day. Mm-hmm. That was Rachel went out and was cutting the tree down.
Yep.
She was doing great. Lost round 6, I think, to Phil Harvey.
It was round 6. Yep.
Yeah, to Phil. She was, you know, like I said, you know, you get set up tight and then you end up going red. Rachel was, I want to say 001. We put 5 in for her to come up 8. And then, so she's hitting it, and she was like maybe 10 or 11 before that.
Yeah.
So she was doing really well. Her lights were moving with the delay box for wherever we set it to. She said about putting more in. I'm like, you know, you got to lay one down for Phil. So I you know, kind of said, I'm like, set up tight and you're going to be good. She lets go. She's 3 red, and then would have been dead, or drove it down to be dead on 2.
Yeah.
Phil was 006 beside her.
He was very good beside her.
Was very good, but you know, if she wanted to put 5 in, if she did, she would have been 002 dead on 2.
Yeah. And
he was 6 total. So he was 6 on the tree.
6 on the leave. Yep.
So you know, that would have been cool. So that was the heartbreaker for that deal, right? But she was racing heavy hitter after heavy hitter, putting down great laps. The car was working phenomenal. So that was cool. It's a hard loss, right? Because then, like we talked about it all the time, right? You work so hard and you put so much in every day, and you get on a roll, and then it's done,
Yeah.
and then none of it matters, right?
Yeah.
Then tomorrow you just have to start at the bottom, right?
It's
And you do
yes.
all that work. It's a grueling thing that we put ourselves through.
It's that deck of cards where you start to build it up and you're almost there, and then it all crumbles down, right? And then you get to start all over again, right?
Yeah,
And,
there's no groundwork that you've laid that is
No.
still there, right?
No.
You go through every one of those rounds, have to earn every win late again. But
Yep.
I was proud of her. It was
Absolutely.
really cool. This was the first big race that I've single entered in a long time.
Yeah,
Like,
that might have to go to the
for
archives
most-
for that.
Like I'm always doubled, and I have been for, I want to say, 5 years at least.
Yeah.
90% of the time I'm double entered, and I just singled this one, taking a little relax on the race. Right, there's a lot in life going on, and being with Alex, having her there at the racetrack now too. So, but it was cool to be more involved in everybody else's program.
Yep.
So that was also a fun part for me.
Yes.
And then Nick got the comment. Nick Brunet, who runs Napierville, that's where we're headed next to the high roller race Saturday night. Mike did let me drive his blower dragster, and I did share a video on Facebook. I was having fun.
There was a pretty big smile on your face there, I got to admit. There was a pretty few smiles in the pit area out of your pit in general, but yeah.
And when the wind lights kept coming on, I made down to 3 cars in the high roller race, driving that thing. Like, wind lights are coming on, I was having a blast, right? I was doing burnouts as far as that thing would let me do it. And, it was fun. It was picking the front wheels up, moving around, shaking. Car's deadly.
Yes.
Like for
it's a
something,
great.
For one that drives that way, it's unreal how good that race car is.
Yeah.
And Mike's been driving it like, all over. He's been nailing the tree in that thing lately, and putting up really good runs. So that was a treat for sure.
That was a great one. Yeah. So who ended up winning the high roller on the Saturday night there?
That was Serge Marino, took the win over Kyle Jessup. That was Serge's first win, I believe, in the door car. I don't know what it's like, a Pro Stock Top Sportsman
GT
Cavalier, maybe? I don't know what it is.
Cavalier. That's what it is. It is the Cavalier. Yeah.
So Serge's, I believe, first win with that car over killer Kyle Jessup. I was really hoping to run Kyle in the final. Unfortunately, I had to run with 3 cars, and he ate me up.
Yeah. And that was a good recovery for him. I remember talking to him in round 1, and the expectation bar was pretty low going into round 1 for him, and clearly, he managed to pick it up and get rolling. So
absolutely. So before I ask how your Saturday went, Andrew, I have to answer to Nick's, and Nick's asked if I'm ready for the turbo yet. Absolutely. Sign me up, bud. Anytime. I'm ready.
And actually saw a twin turbo car running at Ohio this past weekend. So
there you go.
There you go. It's not that far out of the realm. So Saturday at the Super Tour was good. I'll be honest with you, I struggled out of the gate this year with just figuring things out. We had the Friday warm up race that I just single entered, because spinning 2 cars around in that format wasn't likely going to be a good turnout for me. But put a couple good rounds up. The car was working fantastic, and that's probably the story of the start of the year for me. At least the Corvette was just lights out, to the point where you almost had to put too much pressure on yourself because you realize your hot rod is so good. The loose nut is the one behind the wheel causing the problems, not anything else.
Yeah.
So not the best Saturday, but I think recovered okay to go up from there. But can't complain. The Mustang worked pretty good. We got some converter changes to make on it that we learned through that weekend, which will lead me into, we'll talk about the next racing after that, which consequently didn't end much better for me talking about converters. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, we both been just wrecking stuff this year. But we'll hit more of that stuff later. Roll over to Sunday. What a great day for our camp, for the Ogilvy camp. There, Ashley takes the win over Darren. Ash was good. Decent all day. Got it done. Right. Good for her. She was great in the final. Darren Frazzo, right? I don't know if I said his name the first time I announced him. I don't know. Not a shocker.
He had a great day.
I think arguably one of the most underrated racers, at least in our area. Does well everywhere. Every weekend he goes out, is a competitor. The Camaro is unreal good. How he drives that, like he's a great racer. Has been for a very long time. So as I said, very underrated guy, and does well. So great to see Darren come out and have success. So
that was a tough final.
I wasn't upset when Ashley was when Ashley's win light came on, but I would have been happy for Darren just the same. Great dude, and always been a supporter of mine and helped me out. I've had a lot of influences on me through my years of growing up at the racetrack, and Darren's definitely had a big influence on me and Darren and Jenny. So cool deal. It's good for them. Semi-pro, Ivan Grenier takes the win. I got to hang out with Ivan. He's came down for our the Winter Rumble Practice Tree Challenge in Belleville. So Ivan's came down and supported us, and awesome to see him doing well. Parker Seguin takes the win in junior. Parker definitely going to be a contender for the Super Tour Points Championship here. Rolling through. He's getting the hang of it. He's got to figure it out now.
That junior championship for the Super Tour might be a tough battle with a lot of really good junior racers. Just because I've been able to follow that one a little bit more than some of the other programs. There's great ones everywhere, but should be an interesting battle this year to watch, see who comes out on top on that one.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we'll kick it up to Grand Bend this past weekend. So they ended up running both races on Saturday. So kind of a great call because Sunday turned out to be a washout. So race number 1, and a lot of themes here, but Mod ET, Jay Talbot, the Talbot boys, just off to an awesome start to the year. Later results will indicate how awesome that is, which is to another level, to be honest with you. Kevin Knight also picking up the win. Top ET, Stephen Payne, Mike and Sled. And here's where the Talbot picks up again. Jeff Talbot and Sportsman pick up the W, so sharing the winner circle with Jay on Saturday, race number 1. Make sure I get that out right. Extreme 32, Brian Dilling picking up the W. Great start to the year for Brian. Open Comp, Paul Alexander. Junior Advanced, Alexis Hind. Junior Development, Chloe Parkin. And then Saturday in general, so Saturday race 1 or Saturday's race had a team format to it. Usually I think it's like a 5-car team. Piece it together any class you want, similar to bracket finals. Shockingly, Team Talbot picked up the $500 team prize with 2 cars in the winner's circle, and I'm sure a bunch of other entries all going deep. So great for them. So race number 2, aka Sunday, on Saturday. I think that's how the Motor Mania guys always talk about that one. And you're going to hear the name Talbot just a bunch here, so forgive me. I'm not repeating myself. Mod ET, Jay Talbot with the double up. Brad Talbot with the win in Top ET. And then Jeff Talbot with the double up in Sportsman. So Jay, Brad, and Jeff all going to the final on Sunday's race number 2 and winning. Triple winner circle picture. I saw it on the internet. Great shot. Just, a cool story. It's going to be another family that I'm sure is, based on the results I'm seeing here, will be another WDRA trip for them if this continues on, and all 3 of them heading down there for that. Bike and Sled, Nelson Tremblay picking up the win. Extreme 32, Brian Dilling doubles it up. So another one of these deals, you get on a roll. And sometimes that's the house of cards we talked about. You just get on a roll, right? You can build all this work and it falls apart. Sometimes you build that castle of cards and you just can keep going, right? You get on a roll. So certainly a lot of that taking place at Grand Bend. Open Comp, Tim Ferguson. Junior Advanced, Sydney Friedis. I think I got that right. Junior Development, Chloe Parkin with the double up. Again, getting on a roll, rolling right through. Junior Constellation, Aiden Meany. And that was Grand Bend. Got the full program in, full weekend over the course of one day, starting early, finishing late. So kudos to them. Great job to the Talbots, as I've clearly pointed out. What a dominant weekend for those folks.
I love it. It's funny. Like, I love the domination of a weekend or a class or an event, or a year, right?
Yeah.
I would love if it was me doing the dominating, but just anybody. Like when it starts to get ridiculous, I really get behind that, right? I love it because then it's the pressure that's on you. And I don't know any of these guys personally, but I know, like, for when I was on a roll and have gotten hot with that way, you can really feel it.
Yes.
Kind of, I don't know whether you put pressure on yourself or it goes the other way, that, like, you almost feel it's too easy at times. You let it slip. So the
you almost can't do wrong. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's cool to see. I love it. And then I love the family deal, family being successful, that they set it up to run in 3 classes so they can win in all 3 classes, and then potentially go to the WDRA, the bracket finals again in 3 classes.
And they're all doubled in some manner, I believe. I'm just going back to my results here fast. Like, I know Jay typically doubles mod and top. Brad, I've seen run top in Sportsman with his car, because Sportsman being a foot brake class. I know he always runs, used to run mod with his other car. And then Jeff, I think, runs Sportsman and mod. So, I mean, I'm sure these guys, and I almost feel like now that I'm looking back on it, a couple of these guys might have ran into each other in one of the doubled up classes to get through one another to get to finals as well. So I'm sure someone will fill us in on that if I'm right, wrong, or indifferent on that one. But nonetheless, just, awesome deal for them.
Absolutely. So we're heading west. Top eliminator Edmonton, my bad, had their races 3 and 4. So cool deal there. Winner on Saturday, Junie Hidal. That's what I'm going. That's what I'm going with that. Yeah. Either way, Judy got her first top E win. So that's nice. Huge, right? Good for Judy. We all know what our first win is, especially the top E series in Edmonton. Very prestigious series out there, very difficult series out there. We've seen a lot of great racers in that. Takes out Stan Esri in the finals there. Stan, I believe, picked up did he pick up an NHRA win? Was it Stan earlier in the year?
I think he went late rounds. Did Stan win in Top Dragster at Vegas?
I think so. I'm pretty sure Stan did. We could check. But either way, if somebody's watching, they'll let us know. But tough field to roll through. So Absolutely. Good for them. Good for Judy taking that win. Rolling different through. Yeah, race 4 winners. Randy Moderson. Mm-hmm. That's where we're going with. Runner up Richard Harder. Taking the win on that one, or runner up on that one. So cool deal. Holy frig, I'm struggling with reading. I'm trying to read ahead before I get to it. We got a lot of information here.
There is.
And then, so I'm just getting ready for where I'm going to go next. But we got a update here. Jay beat Brad in the final mod in race 1. There we go.
There it is.
All Talbot final.
Yes.
On that.
Yes, I didn't see that in the results, but there it is.
Yeah. And we got another comment. Andrew got some sun.
Yes, I did.
Some sun or some wind?
No, sun. Yeah. I didn't have parental guidance there to tell me to put sunscreen on for 2.5 days. So
I hear you.
Things happen.
Yeah. Staying out west. George LeBlanc rolls out, heads to Spokane. I believe it's Spokane County. Calypso Raceway.
That's a tough one, Washington
Calypso Raceway Park in Washington State. George LeBlanc rolls down there, takes him out on Saturday, takes the win, gets the Sunday, gets the final. I believe it rained in the final, so they weren't able to run it. But great weekend for George, right? I don't know how far of a tow that was, but I've heard. I used to do a different group in the TIVR stuff, and then we had a guy that raced Spokane, and it was a cool little deal. So good for George. Kind of, neat that it comes up in my, that we get to talk about it after learning a bunch about it a few years ago. So cool deal for him. Now we'll go the opposite way to the East Coast.
Just crisscross the country.
That's it. That's how we go. That's how it rolls here. Miramichi Dragway. Great weekend there. Lots of time trials and testing. They had a gamblers race on Saturday and a bracket race on Sunday. So letting everybody get the cars shook down and figured out. So they held the first of 3 maritime heads-up shootout races as well. So that'd be an interesting series.
Yeah,
I'm not sure how that all works, but Remy Hebert takes first place on the A ladder. Dave Galvin was the winner of the B ladder. So it must have different qualifying levels then to get on there, and so good for them. Gamblers race: Jason McNeil over Trevor Cowie. No box. That's in box. No box gamblers, Donald Bellinger over William Newcomb. Juniors, Kane Hogan over Bryson McNeil. We roll through to Sunday. Bryson McNeil takes the win in junior. So great weekend for the McNeil family. As always, right? There's not usually we don't usually not talk about Bryson at least once, and same with Jason. So
That's
good
right.
for them. So Bryce takes the win over Carter McLean. Sportsman Gus Long. You can go Longafee. Good one. Over Riley Green. In Sportsman Bike Sled, Jason Sweetnam. You guys are killing me this weekend or this week. Over Remy Hebert. Pro Donald Belanger with the double up over C. Newman. And Sewer Pro Andy Charlton over Brett Ramsey. So good for all those guys. Tough competitors there. I say this every time we talk about Miramichi. I can't wait to get back one day. But cool getting to meet everybody. And now we've started to interchange a little bit more with running racing with each other. So
yeah, we've seen Brett Ramsey make the trip out to Luskville and put up some good numbers there. So I'm sure we'll see some folks head east at some point. And speaking of, we'll jump to Greenfield, Dragway. So it's after a long winter, they finally got their racing in. Saturday Gamblers race, box, Tim Lawrence over Brett Ramsey. No box, Danny Hurdle over Warren Cottrell. Both were first-time winners, Tim and Danny. So congratulations to them is what I'm taking on that one. Or is that the junior side? Did I miss that?
No, I think that's the
that's right.
That's the top two.
Yeah. And then Kane Hogan, that's Kane, over Casey Sprague. And then junior 2, Caden Sprague over Kane Hogan.
There you go.
That's all right. Sunday, Super Pro, Michael Wynot over Brett Ramsey. So Brett, great start to the year, right? Picking up.
Not bad.
Getting
three finals.
Yeah.
3 finals and 4 races.
I would take that. I'm not complaining. I mean, that one last win light seems to be a little elusive, but boy, better spot to be in than some of the places I've been. Pro, Cale Johnson, the 2023 champ over Chad Cronin. Sportsman, Scott Thibault, 2023 champ over Gus Longafee. Kevin King in Bike and Sled over Bruce Mossman, and juniors, Casey Sprague over Kane Hogan. A lot of repetitiveness there. Some great junior drivers out there. Next race, Greenfield, is the June 14th to the 16th, including the Atlantic Canadian Stock Super Stock Series, Quick 660 doubleheader, and ADRA opener. That's a big weekend. A lot going on there.
That is. Should be good.
Absolutely.
Lots of results for us to talk about.
Well, that's the thing, right? We're getting that time of year. This is where the shows become predominantly results, and we sit here and get to talk about it and break it all down, right?
No problem with that.
That's it. NHRA Epping. This one have to give me a moment to work through because I wasn't prepared. But 2 top fuelers made the show at Epping. Dan Mercier, who also got to run in the Mission Foods.
Too fast, too tasty challenge.
Too fast, too tasty challenge. Right, there it is. Rolls off the lips better for you. I haven't quite got that one yet. But qualifies for the main event. Unfortunately, personal favorite, Clay Milliken, got him in round 1. And then Smack Smith, Air Ontario's Smack Smith, in the Anthill Mob, making their NHRA season debut. They got all of Steve Torrance in round 1, and Steve Torrance got all of the run in round 1. Smacks and them putting up, I believe they were driving the dragster out of Michigan. It wasn't the Anthill Mob car, but I can't quite remember. But anyway.
I thought it was the Anthill Mob car. It might not have been, though. No,
I think it was the Michigan. What is that team? And I always forget their name now.
The Leverage team?
Leverage. Yes, Leverage racing team. Because they mentioned that it was like 55 years, I think, or close to 60 for Leverage. Smacks has been wheeling a fuel car for 50 years, which is, one of those things you can't fathom that number, but that's up there. So those are the 2 Canadian teams. Unfortunately, round 1 was not their friend. Pro Modified, though, did see a familiar name, Jordan Lasik. Jordan paced the field pretty well, going through some tough competitors. Lyle Barnett also went through Gonzalez in round 2, Sidney Frigo to get to right in the final. And unfortunately, in a very good final round, lost on a hole shot, Jordan did. Mike Wright came up 574 with a 47 light. Jordan 79 on the tree, 573.3, 254, booming mile an hour. Needed 1,300 and about 40 feet probably to get her done. But great showing there in the King car. Justin Bond also qualified for the field, and it was a fast field. I remember listening to this on Sunday on the drive home from Ohio. We had some NHRA.TV on in the background, and I believe the slowest car in the field at 16 was still faster than the track record. So in order to qualify for that Pro Mod field, you had to run better than the track record. And to qualify number one, you had to reset the track record probably a couple times. So
Yeah.
great racing out in Epping. Racing's heading to Bristol this weekend, so I'm sure there'll be some more Canadians down there. Some I know, some I won't. There's hand up
Guilty.
right there. There it is.
That.
So that'll be exciting. I will throw in here too. I grabbed some RCSS results. They did get a day of racing in on there. Quick Sportsman Claude Lozier taking the win over Matt Costable. Raced this past weekend with Matt down at Ace in Ohio. As long as I can get this to work. Super Pro Tim Knight over Les Kiss. Les borrowed a car from Cammy Scott to be able to get in and race in this this run. Then we've got Modified, which saw Peter Borst take the win over Bob Richards. Bob being the local perennial legend. Great win for Peter. Bike and sled, Mike Konopacki just running away with it, right? Like, and it's a race number one, and he's already on a roll, which is problematic for those in bike and sled. He picked up the win over Frank Allingham. Come on, computer, let's scroll. And I believe Street, Sam Snap over DJ Razor. DJ, our local Buffalo friend. And Sportsman saw Johnny Terzis over Darcy Macabre, my neighbor to the other side of Orangeville, picking up the runner-up on that one. Great start to the year for them. Junior Dragster, Charlize Bertrand over Aaron Peñol. And we have Junior Consi, Carter Daniels over Amelia Millie Costello. And I believe that's the results from the RCSS. Saturday rained out, Sunday run. I hope it is not the theme of 2024. And on that note, I will go to the last one. And this is the sportsmanship announcement, as much as it is a win. Chris Van Balen, talked about Chris a couple times in the show here with his great idea for the low-end data logger camera idea. A couple weeks back at Lancaster, which is a local track for him that he runs at. Final round against his buddy TJ Mendola, I believe it was. Something happens to the system. TJ gets red flagged. I think the light was flickering in the lane. Something happened. Chris, wind light comes on, tree comes down. Chris stops the car. They back it up. There was some discussion, and unfortunately, they have a hard cap curfew of 11:59 and 59 seconds. But it's kind of those things where I like to point out the sportsmanship side of things when things are up like that, right? Chris didn't want to take the W like that, was going to back it up. And unfortunately, they just flat out ran out of time to be able to do it. So kind of cool. And I think Chris followed up a week later in a different car for another great win. Late round appearance. So great to see them doing well. They're off to another hot start down in Lancaster. And that's, I think, the most of what I've got.
That's about it. That's the Canadian countdown for episode 63, which is all good. Before we get too deep into any more topic stuff, I just thought about it kind of while we were halfway going through. I was getting some notifications. The Fling bracket races, I guess Peter Biondo's promotion.
Yes.
Has a big announcement coming out. I'm not sure when it's coming out, but it should be sometime soon. Yeah. Looking like an all-door car race for a Fling coming in 2025. So that's at least what it looks like to me. We'll see what the actual announcement is.
Well, the promo, the sneak peek video had nothing but door cars in it, and I have to admit, I didn't get to share this with you before the show, but saw a neat little clip from Jared Pennington that said, "Wouldn't it be neat to see a foot brake / box combo race, similar to see the box dragster, where the final round is foot brake versus door car?" And I don't know if that was a hint of things to come or just him daydreaming about a really cool idea for the door car crowd. But it got my interest. That was something else. So it should be fun to watch.
So that's we'll be paying attention to that. We'll have an update on the next episode in 2 weeks.
Yes.
The fourth Fling does come out with, obviously, as everybody does know, Andrew and myself, we're big fans of the Fling events. Andrew, you plan on hitting at least one this year.
That's true.
So it should be good. I'd love to hit one. We'll see what happens. See how life is. But I will be at another Fling event at some point.
Oh yeah.
So we'll dive in. Absolutely. This is great, right? You can't really get any better than the Fling stuff. But we'll dive into the topic. Mainly kind of just talking about our season successes and struggles.
Yes.
So Andrew, let's start with some success.
Yeah, so event that I would put up as close as I could to the Flings, and doing a great job. The Ace Ohio events put on by Marco Abruzzi, Travis Colangelo, Shelly Elrod. So Ace, they're the folks who also Abruzzi Transmissions and American Race Cars. But they do a series of events, usually two. They're doing three this year. So I started with them last year, hit up one of them, and now I'm in two of the three at least. Went down to Ohio, Dragway 42, awesome drag strip. If you've never had the chance to go there yet, put it on the list for those at least on our end of Canada. Those on the other make the trip too. It's fantastic, but that's just a long haul, right? So, but yeah, I started off there and brought a different car with me because the Mustang after Napierville was not as happy as I wanted to. We were going to make some converter changes, just didn't have time to make those changes, so we went to the shelf and pulled off my brother's car, and proceedingly found out that evidently I must have broke the torque converter the very last pass at Dragway 42 the year before while shaking the tires or something. I'm not sure what I did, but coming off the trailer, unfortunately, had issues. So the trusty Corvette gets pushed into double duty, which was not what it was necessarily designed for, particularly while running on gas. But boy, did it pull out all the stops. And thanks to my buddy Ted Barnes. I'll preface this too. Round two, when the when the Mustang finally made itself evident that it was not going to make the rest of this race, we doubled up the vet, and Ted grabbed the battery charger, 3 fans, the generator, gas, air, threw it all in the golf cart, and we lived in the staging lanes for about 3 hours going in circles. Managed to take 2 entries down to 9 cars. Got to the point where I just gave up trying to run the box the door car side with the car double entered. I just go over the dragster side because I couldn't make the turnaround. We ended up making 2 passes in 7 minutes with it at one point, and I thought for sure I would melt it to the ground before I ever saw another wind light. But at 9, lost an entry, had to buy at 5, got down to 3 before Josh Ludke going 440s just laid a pass down beside me. I took 15 thousandths and needed to take 9 thousandths or less. And that was my day on Thursday. But awesome start. And then, funny enough, woke up the next day, and I'm one of those guys when I feel like the deck of cards thing. You spend all night building up all these rounds, going in circles, and then you have to start right at the base of the mountain again the next morning. And that's usually not my MO. I don't do well with that, or it usually takes me another day to get momentum built back up again. It's like that rolling rock. If it stops, it takes a little while to get going. But I got a little lucky. Funny enough story, the sticker on the Corvette, I didn't tell you this either, but had a small, almost Fig Newton, Ricky Bobby type incident with it, where the sticker managed to fly off the hood scoop. I managed to matrix it to my side as it blew by my head at the 660 mark and went off. So I lost my lucky red sticker, had to move to a new one. That was a harrowing incident. Never gone 125 with no vision on. Almost did. Was not looking forward to find out how that was going to work out. But ended up on Friday taking my black number entry down to 5 cars in the 30K main event because of weather on Sunday. What they ended up doing was originally at 20. Sunday's weather looked poor, so they doubled up Friday and Saturday. So it was 30K and 30K, doubled up the money the rest of the way. So managed to put a string of good passes together until, to be quite honest with you, the long marathon it caught me. And I managed to squeak out a round win when I shouldn't have to get down to 5. I got to 5 and then did not make a good lap. Ran dead zero, but the rest of the run was not quite as it needed to be. But had a great day on Friday. And then, to be honest with you, I thought Saturday was just, deck of cards. Again, we're right back down to the start. And to be honest with you, struggled. Sunday was tough, but managed to get a few lucky laps. And as you point out, sometimes you need to be lucky to be good. And I was more luck than good on Sunday, but got it back down to 36 cars. My buddy Ted on both events got it down to 36 Friday, 36 on Saturday. So fun experience. We had a great time with it. Rodney Gomes was there as well. A bunch of Canadians, actually. There was a really good group there, but a few of us managed to get it down to that round 5, round 6 part of the race. And to be quite frank, this Corvette survived. I have no idea how it did. I was up at Friday morning of the main event day at 6 a.m. I felt so bad. I had to go through that car front to back because I just was not sure that doubling it like I did, it had survived. And gosh darn, it did. I had every panel off the car, I think we didn't have to start early. They inverted the order, I think. Or did I have to start early? I can't even remember now. It feels like it was a week ago and no sleep ago. But went through it and everything seemed good and put her back together and she kept going rounds again. So interesting test of the will of trying to turn a car around and make it work. That wasn't built to do it. But unfortunately, the other car needs some work. So I've got the Mustang converter going back into my car. We've got a new converter getting ordered up for the other car. We're going to get it back together and get it up and running again. It'll be down for a little bit as we work through the budgetary constraints of trying to deal with that. But that's all right. So fun trip nonetheless. And I got to have some my hot pancakes. So how can you go wrong with that?
There you go. Exactly. It was fun watching, right? It was a cool deal. For the most part, honestly, like I didn't get to watch during the day. Obviously, we were at work. And then, whatever time of night, then you'll send me a message and you're like, oh, we're, down to whatever, however many cars. I'm like, holy God, I forgot it was even on. And then we cranked it on, we watched the rest. Thursday was awesome. Both days I was hoping, obviously, for you to take it down. When you rolled through Saturday at 9 cars, got that lucky run. As I said to Rachel, I'm like, oh, he's going to win now.
Have to, right? Like that's
you got to win. Like he's going to recover from that one and then just go take it down. Right. Yeah. And then obviously didn't work out, but it was still cool watching, being a part of it. I was okay with you being done because it was midnight. I think when you lost 5 cars Saturday.
Yeah.
And or Friday night. And I'm done. I wasn't like that win light didn't come on. I don't know if you would have got back to the trailer and the TV was off and I was going to sleep, but we would have been up. We just stayed.
Mentally, I wasn't far behind you. In fact, I was probably a little bit ahead of you. That's why those last 2 rounds were A, lucky, and B, a loss. But that was.
But not a cool deal. I'd love to have joined you at those ACE events. Right, they're great events. Just the right size to get through 40. There. Yeah, takes a little long to get through the first few rounds, but then it motors through at the end. Right.
Yeah. Once you get past, I think it feels like round 4. So it's a 10-round race because they do the re-entry round versus like a buyback, right? But once you get through round 4, you're like, okay, well, I've got time, and really it gets motoring at that point. You actually get into a rhythm with it, and there isn't a lot of time, so you just got to survive. You got to, and that's the biggest thing I took away from that too, and I haven't had as many experiences as you have down south, going late rounds at those like larger events, right? Like the 400 plus cars. This was probably my best showing in this type of format for big money. But the takeaway was the energy conservation, like learning that those 3 hours between runs early or thereabouts, I probably didn't utilize them as well to get the batteries topped up. Won't say recharged because I wasn't really tired, but making sure they didn't get depleted because, to be quite frank, by the time I hit round 7, just you weren't physically tired, you run on adrenaline, but like the mental mistakes, and that's really where it kicked in. Just the things that you're used to doing repetitively because you're focused. That's where I struggled, and that's where just the mental fatigue. Mind you, the 4 hours of sleep the night before probably did not help with the quick turnaround. But but fun. Like that was a great learning experience. I know what to do, not to do. The next one, I'm sure the Fling event we're going to go to in the fall will be another one of those large car count type deals. And if I'm lucky enough to put some wind lights on, there'll be some different approaches to how we deal with that. So
I've always been interested in that. I've always taken that away when we do the bigger ones. How many mental mistakes your opponents don't make? Not all the opponents, but like the ones that have done it before, they've been there before, the great racers, they don't make those mental mistakes at the end because of, and I don't know this for a fact, but I believe the mental preparation they deal with before, such as, between round 1, you turn that first wind light on, you have the rest of round 1, or if you're doubled, whatever, rest of round 1, the buyback round, and then however long in round 2. And with 400 cars, that takes some time.
Like you can
to
shut it down.
Most of that.
That's exactly it, right? It is. I think it's. I mean, I was lucky the couple rounds too. I didn't have to go through the re-entry round. I think Saturday I didn't have to at all, and Friday I had one entry I had to, so it was split up a little bit. But and then Thursday I didn't have to leave either entry. So you had to learn to manage that downtime. In fact, some of the conversation was, and not that, I mean, monetarily it's not advantageous to go through the re-entry round but from just making a run and breaking up the difference, right? If budget's no issue, that re-entry round these keeps you somewhat sharp, but nonetheless, great experience, fun time. Love the track, love going down there. It was look forward to the next event in July, which I don't think sold out yet, but it's awfully close. So for those out there looking for something to do in July, if there's nothing else to race where you are in Canada, find an entry. It's well worth it. You'll have a great time.
Yeah, talk to Rachel. Maybe we never know.
Hey,
maybe we'll go.
Yes.
Yeah, see what happens. So next kind of on the list was obviously time out myself driving Mike's car. We went to that a little earlier when Nick brought that up. Ridiculous time. I love blower cars. They're sweet, right?
Yeah, that's
just
the
whole deal. You're having too much fun, honestly. But there's not a roller coaster in the world that's like driving one of them.
No,
and that's not like I was going 450s in that thing, and it's an animal, right? I can't wait till we crank that rate up. Like I want to go 420s in that, and then really feel it. And then what that next step is for those guys going, 390s, 380s, 370s, whatever it might be. Dragster, door car, doesn't matter. The whole rush, like just everything fast. I love it.
Yeah.
I love wind lights, and I don't think going crazy fast is the perfect recipe, but anybody can win in anything.
Well, right environment, right time. And there was a ton of them in Ohio. I mean, we watched one day 433 got to leave first.
Yeah.
Like that's just insane fast. And that wasn't the only car on the property, but they were very. I mean, who I lost to on Thursday, Josh, like he was 440 or 439. I can't quite remember. Like just stupid fast and very competitive.
Yeah, I think 444, and like this is what 11:30 at night.
Yeah,
may not be like that, but like
it was. I mean, it was late. It was very late, and it wasn't warm. Like it was a little chilly on Thursday. So
and the tracks now, like for the most part, everywhere are so good. You can have a car go 430s, 440s, and repeat all day long. So
even that's 490 door cars. Like we were watching, buggies and Mosier's had their share of rides there, but like
love those things too.
Oh, at 490s late at night in a buggy, right? Like and look good, like just straight and narrow. It really speaks to what you can get away with. Can you get away with that at all tracks? No, but some of those elite tracks, boy, there's some fun rides you can go fast in and still win.
Oh yeah, that'd be a blast. So some early season challenges. We all know that we've all seen kind of the fights that I've had in my racing to this point. Now, currently, we've hurt 2 engines. Hurt the fast one, obviously. That came out. We did a YouTube vlog on that. Hurt the second one. Didn't really hurt it yet, but
just not happy.
Took it out before we did start hurting stuff. So took my spare out. Moving on, making some different changes moving forward. So to this point, I can share with you the white car, my dragster that I've had we've had for 10 years. Now that thing is going down the road a little bit. I started to drive it a little bit more this year, get it set up, get another engine. But yeah, so that one is sold. Big, like I said, big changes, a lot going on. A lot of emotions through that, and it's a race car. That's all it is, but like it's more than that, right? There's some that, had a lot of history with this whole deal, but and driving that dragster, right, learned a lot and everything that kind of comes with that. That's there's not a race car anywhere that I'm more comfortable in than that one, but it's time, right? Time to move forward. If you're not in a lot of things in life, you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. And I think I've been spinning my wheels kind of in that one a little bit. And is the race car bad? No, just in, it's a mental, I think, thing more at this point. Then I'm just ready for the next chapter. So we move through that. We'll see kind of what happens now for the meantime. I'm driving Daniel's dragster. Car works good. It's always worked really well. I've had a lot of success in that car, for the amount that I have drove it, so, and had a great showing at the Super Tour event with it. So that's where I'm headed, so far in my season. That's how 2024 has started, right? Hurt 2 engines. And so we sell the race car.
Yeah,
So
it's
let's
not exactly how you draw it up in
yeah.
March, right? Like
No,
no one sits
no.
down and goes, what converter are you on? Well, I'm on converter number 4. What motor are you on? Motor number 2, right? Down to the
Yeah.
backup cars, the spare cars, doubling up stuff, right? And the funny thing is, it's how you kind of recover from that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's not at all how you want to start the year, but certainly this early in, it's not too late to try to make a pivot, right? And do
Exactly.
something different, right? And try
It's all
something
cool.
different. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's where we're headed. So then, Andrew, you've also, you brought up some converter problems. You're having the Mustang a little bit, and then driving Ian's Mustang.
Yeah.
More
Yeah.
converter problems.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
Yeah.
is what it is, right? Got a fresh unit a while ago, and just like any race car part, kind of
Don't last
gave
forever.
up.
On this,
Yeah.
and you know what? And this, this is one of those deals where it's if you're going to make an example of yourself, right? We didn't pull the powertrain out of that car this past winter because it was one of those deals. It went away, working great, changed fluids, right? Did not do maintenance on it, but just evidently one of those scenarios where we probably should have pulled the training converter out and sent them out to get checked, but low runs and just all the little things that you kind of tell yourself that it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it because, the other ones got double the runs and it was fine. It bit us. It bit me. It bit me in the butt, right? Hard because you make a trip with the one car and a few passes later, you've trashed pieces. And so back to the maintenance conversations, and we've talked about that. We've had shows on that, right? And that's one of those ones that slips through the crack a little bit and it gets you, right? But, at the same token, it forces us to pivot in a manner that I'm kind of intrigued by. We're going to try a few things converter-wise in the car. And it's not so much that the converter was hurt in the car. I don't think it wasn't optimal for what we're trying to do. It was moving around in numbers that it probably shouldn't have, particularly with the new motor combo in it and a bunch of other minor changes we made. It didn't work great. The Corvette last year was one of those setups where we heard a motor, we put a new motor in it, we tried a converter. It worked good. We had some good rounds with it. At the end of the year, I decided to try a different converter, more on a whim, and it was the best thing I ever did. And I'm kind of trying to take that approach of, okay, not optimal, not the way you want to start the year, but we got a shelf of a few different converters that I'm not quite sure what they're going to do. I think I know what they're going to do. Let's throw some on there. And now you're kind of forced to try some things that you wouldn't normally have tried because if everything's working pretty decent, who the heck, outside of a converter test team that's got the budget to go out there and test and go to tracks and have a converter company behind them, feeding them, I'll try this one, right?
Yeah,
that didn't work. Let's try this one to try a few things. So I'm excited to put a different converter in it to see how that works out. And as I said with the Corvette, we missed the combo a little bit, put a different one in that we weren't sure about, and does that thing print tickets?
Apparently.
So sometimes you got to take some of the adversity that gets thrown at you, pivot with it, and you learn a few things, and you try some stuff you wouldn't try, and hey, you sometimes end up in a better spot, right? So that's all you can kind of do some days.
Exactly. So we're getting there, right? We'll recover, but this definitely is an example of not particular how to start a race season.
No,
but that's all right.
It's like drawing up the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to go down 2 goals and come back, right? Like that's not how that works. So
not optimal, optimal at all. So that's about it for the bad news. For sure. For myself, as coming up, I'm leaving in a couple days now, heading to Bristol. Just gonna go watch some racing with Mike and Nick. Do the NHRA deal a little bit. Hang with some fuel cars. The Peyton team's going to be down there, so we'll sniff a little bit of nitro here and there. Excellent. Or a lot. Either way.
A lot would probably be the
a
better
lot.
thing.
Yeah, it'll be cool. I'm excited to go. I haven't been to a national event since 2018. It'll be fun. I'm in a different spot now than where I was before, so I can, at a time I know a little bit more about the sport and what's going on. I'm gonna take a tour. Just take a tour of the pits, hang out in the sportsman pits a little bit, see who I run into, and I'm excited for that.
That'd be
go
fun.
From there, and the camping deal is gonna be cool. After being to Bristol to race and then checking out the campgrounds, and then now gonna go stay in the campground. It's
that's gonna
I'm
be
excited
fun.
for that. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. That's a spectacular track. Just such a fun place. Like, I can't fathom there's a bad seat in that house, right, to watch anything from. And it's so tight and it kind of, compact in a sense, right? Like it's got to be a little bit
Yeah.
intimate to get around there and see all that stuff, and not got to go far to see everything, or depending on where the sportsmen are. But yeah, that should be good. That'll be fun to watch. Be great. I think was Pro Modified running there too. I can't remember.
I'm not sure, but I think they normally do.
Yeah, so we expect a couple Canadians on that side probably too. Then
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
hope so. Right,
Yeah.
somebody to talk to. Right, we'll stop by if anybody happens to be going to Bristol. Let me know. Maybe we'll run into you. Check it out. Upcoming events. The only one that I guess I kind of have wrote down: Napierville Fuel Tech Pro Mod Series and Bracket Series coming up.
Yes.
Where else did I have? There's another event I just missed. I had it on the screen. Either way, you know where racing is. You know where all the stuff's going down.
You know where the Canadian schedule is.
That's it, right? BracketlifeBrand.com. I could look that up, but a lot going on. But yeah, so check that out. Let us know how you make it. Let us know all your results.
Yeah, as much as we
Track there.
scour the internet, right? If you can tell us if you've done well somewhere or somewhere you've been or someone you know, your neighbor goes to the final round in Superstock at some place, let us know. We love, we have a Crackwick team that sort of scours the internet looking for Canadian racing results, but sometimes we miss things.
Yeah. There's a lot of racing, right? As we highlighted earlier, but yeah, a lot going on. So like I said, Napierville event. What else we got? Yeah, a lot of stuff. Sorry, I got the schedule up now. Lots up here. The 660 Sportsman National is coming up. When is it? June 14 to 16. Holy freak. That's
right there. 2 weeks.
Next weekend. 2 weeks.
Yeah, not this one. Yeah, the next one.
Not this one. Next weekend. So at Toronto Motor Sports Park. So check that out. I know, huge event, great event. Always is. All the 660 events are.
Yeah.
They have the shootouts open. Right now, there is a Bracket Life brand 10K shootout you should go sign up for just because. It's going to be great. So there's lots of that going on. That'll be fun. I'm not sure if we'll make it out. Obviously, now with the move being, before we were 4 hours away, now we're about 6.
A little bit different.
A little bit life. Like I said, if it was just Rach and I that were rolling out, then there's no problem. But a lot more on the plate. But either way, it'll be a great event nonetheless. TMP's had a lot of improvements. I've heard a lot of good things about the track. Timing system seems to be working well.
The new surface was just put in this past spring there. We talked about quite a bit actually through that March ground and everything else. So 8th mile racing at its best going to be taking place at Cayuga in 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure. So those are the big ones. Like I said, everything else, just looking through. Yeah, everybody's got all their, we're in the full swing of it now. Right? We're in June, prime racing season, building up for Andrew. Where are you going next? I'd imagine you're in
so I got Ace on the docket to get to in July. We've got Super Tour Canada Day. It's on the docket as well. So we're just trying to get through to those. Got a couple weeks here where we're going to try some other stuff and see what's up, but a little bit depends on maintenance. I got everything right now is apart in some various form in the race shop. So waiting on a few parts and got some engines on dynos that we're trying to get through too. So not of our own, just people were trying to get up and going, get them onto the field and racing, right? So, but so busy schedule coming up. Got a few of those things to deal with, middle of maintenance, and then we'll get back out there. So maybe Luskville after that. Yeah,
absolutely. That's about where I'll be going. If we don't make the 660 race, I'll be headed to Luskville for that, and then see what happens. On a Super Tour race for Canada Day weekend, it should be huge.
Fun for that.
I'm excited to see the points when they all get out for the Super Tour. I had a good weekend. I was happy with my results when we were there. So
I'm kind of hoping they don't come out till after Canada Day, which would be coupled with a good result on my end, hopefully. But whatever, I doubt that'll happen. But I probably won't look until after that.
Absolutely. So that's about it for tonight. Episode 63. Like I said, a lot of great results, a lot of great racing. Keep sending that all in. If you have any other ideas, topics, anything like that, let us know. We have some cool ideas going forward. In the next couple of weeks, next couple of episodes, we're gonna have hopefully some special guests on, more guests. I know they're always a lot of fun to do, and kind of focus on that stuff. There'll be a new vlog coming out, I think later in the week.
Nice.
I believe it's finished, so we have a new one coming, and then more on the way as we progress through the race season. But yeah, that's been it. Thank you, Andrew. Thank you everybody that tuned in, everybody that threw comments up there. I said we love it.
Yeah,
love all that. Love the interaction. Helps us out. Let us know that you're hanging out and that you're enjoying it.
Correcting us, filling us in on the information. Everything else,
exactly.
right?
All the good stuff.
Yeah.
All the good stuff. Thanks to you, pro1safety.ca. Like I said, check that out. We got dealers everywhere. Shoot me a message, any questions or anything like that. And I think that's it for Tuesday. We'll see you in 2 weeks, and we'll have fun and see you at the racetrack.
That's it. Have a good one.
You guys do.
Make sure your next set of seatbelts and racing suit are from pro1safety.ca. Pro1 Racing and Safety Products offer high-quality products made in the USA and now distributed in Canada. Pro1 Canada offers seatbelts, racing suits, helmets, and all sorts of safety accessories for drag racers. See for yourself why NHRA sportsmen world champions such as Bo Butner, Jeff Strickland, the Emmons brothers, Austin Williams, and many more rely on Pro1 Racing and Safety Products. Join the winners. Choose Pro1. Buy high-quality American-made products from your Canadian wholesale distributor at pro1safety.ca.